We're talking of current situation and not what you think it will be in the future. But realistically, how long do you think it will take before that changes?
Nobody knows. Um, the not too young to run bill was passed, I think, ahead of 2019 elections. Yes, like ahead of 2019
2019,
elections.
yeah.
Yeah, but 2015 nobody knew it would happen. Nobody knew it would
Do you
happen.
think in Nigeria, what persuasions do you think propel our decisions more? Do you think it's political, social, economic, or religious? What do you think is the dominant force in Nigeria?
Social and religious.
Social,
And religious.
okay.
You know, we are a deeply religious people.
Yes, if you go for religious, I will agree. But social, I don't think. I think
People who
I
are
think
not
cultural
okay.
comes
Yes,
before social.
I accept. I was wrong. Culture
Yeah.
is a culture thing.
You know why I asked that question?
Yes.
Socially, politics, we can decide to say, okay, not too young to run, and give 35% affirmation to women, reserve 35% positions for women, give them free funds. Those below 35 years, give them free funds. But the moment those same issue border on religion or tribe, that is culture, you will see that people will immediately begin to raise eyebrows once it comes to religion or culture. Why am I saying this? Because in the context of the optimism you have expressed about the change in the law and the example you're painting with the not young to do, I'm trying to make you see that that was a purely political decision. And in the scheme of things, such decisions on a political basis, it ranks lower when you place it on the same pedestal with religion and culture. And you already alluded to that when you say we're deeply religious people. Now we are deeply religious doesn't mean we are holy, which is the point you're also making. That people go to church, that they are pastors or whatever, doesn't mean they're actually living the life that their state of life presupposes. Because if you see someone who goes to church every Sunday and is a member of maybe the ushering group or one another, you expect some level of integrity, moral probity in the life of that person. You expect that person to do the right thing when nobody is watching. Because for me, that is the important thing. It's not what you do when people are watching you that makes you, and that's my own position. That's what I preach to my congregation. What makes you a good person, a good man? I'm not even talking of a religious person. You know, you can say this person is a good man, this person is a good woman. It's not about how many times you come to church. And I say that to my congregation. It's about what you do when nobody is watching. You are not a good man because this plastic contains sweet candies and then you're not supposed to take it. But you know that you can take it and nobody will know you've taken it. And you still choose not to take it. It's different from when this candy is here and you know there are cameras here. If I take this, the camera will catch it. It means that you are not taking it not because you are convinced in doing the right thing. You do it only for fear of repercussion, of consequence. That if you do this, you'll be caught, you'll be shamed and punished and all that. The point of all of this is that, yes, I agree with your point that coming to church does not necessarily guarantee holiness of life, moral probity. No, it doesn't. It is to transfer those good things you hear and read about in the Bible into your own everyday life. That is what makes you a good Christian, a good person, a holy person. In all of this, the point that brought me to this is to say that our religious life is perhaps the most important and fundamental consideration, even in the politics. Why do you think it's almost impossible to have a Muslim ticket? People consider that. Why do you think people are clamoring that Buhari is putting Muslims everywhere? It's easier, if you ask me, to have another president from the north than to have a president from the south who is a Muslim and a vice from the north who is also a Muslim. You will see it tomorrow. Why? Not because of the politics of it, but for the religious part. Why do you think things like abortifacient materials, like those materials that give to women for pills for prevention of, why do you think it's not going to really pass through in Nigeria per se? Abortion laws. Why do you think they won't pass through? Not because of health reasons, not because of economic reasons, simply because of religious reasons. Not science. Not science. If at some point, if you follow the discussion, of which I believe you have, since your NGO deals with sexuality and all that, you will see that the major consideration, the major reason why that bill keeps pulling down is the overbearing nature of the religious considerations on the politics. And nobody wants to offend his religious leader, really. Because when they call you out, your followers they will just step back. They will just step back, and then you lose that political position. So I don't see this scaling through in the next 20, 30 years, maybe not even in our own lifetime. But of course, like you said, the world is dynamic and things are changing very fast. We must admit that, very fast.
By the way, they don't have to change. I can leave the country.
Of course.
My legs are not glued to Nigeria.
Of course. Of course. But would you consider how, well, you already said that is selfish thoughts on their own part. Would you consider how your decisions is affecting your family? When I say your family, I'm not even talking about your dad and your mom alone, or your brother and your sister alone. I mean, every other person concerned about
that's
you.
The problem. You said
this young man that came in, you need to see how concerned he was when he was talking to me about you.
But you said my
they
decisions.
Care about you so much.
You said my decisions. Well, it's not a decision.
What is it?
It's like someone saying, Father Raymond, are you not concerned about your decision to be fair? You didn't choose your color. I don't know if you get. I didn't choose my sexual orientation.
So all through life, this has been you. Well,
when people say decision, that's what annoys me. The fact that they don't understand that
some people are born that way.
It's not a decision. Maybe if I wanted to make them happy, I would decide otherwise so that they can be happy. It's not a decision.
But have you ever considered seeing if you could actually change your sexual orientation? Have you ever considered it?
That's why I came here.
Okay. That's a positive.
So if I come to this church, I can change. It's okay.
Well,
okay.
That's interesting.
At least, if she doesn't change, it won't be for a lack of effort.
Well, but do you think you are ready to give it a trial? Because sometimes,
Father Raymond, I'm a very stubborn person. I don't mean that in the negative.
Yeah.
It means that if I believe in a worthy cause, I chase it. People get tired, I'm still standing. And I chase it to the end. It's one of why I'm valued in my workplace. It means that if I don't believe in something, talk from now to tomorrow, I won't listen to you. That I am here means that I'm willing to try. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come. They have been trying to convince me to come for so long.
That's good. Of course, you remember at the beginning I told you that for me it's not about force, it's about discussion. And that's why we're having this discussion. You see, it's good that you are willing to give it a trial. Of course, it is good that you also do it with open mind, not out of compulsion of any kind, because then it will only be a charade. It won't linger, it won't last, it won't achieve anything positive. So, in that light, I would only say sometimes we see, myself, I like what you said. I grew up noticing that I never loved bitter leaf soup. You know bitter leaf soup? I never loved it because it was bitter. The first time I can recall as a child, I tasted it. I spitted it out, I shouted and all that. And from that moment, whenever they cook that in my house, they make a separate soup for me. Nobody told me don't like the soup. I just saw that the first time I tasted it, I didn't like it. So that. But you know, over time, a lot of talking and oh, I try it, you like it, right? It took me years. And then one day, my mom said, don't worry, try it. She had been trying to convince me as an adult, try it, it's good. I said, okay, she said, okay, no. But one day, she washed it extra to the point that thing was almost tasteless. And she said, try it, you see it's not that bitter. And then, I don't know the spices she used and all that. I did like this, passed a bit, and then I tried. And then, now, it's not my favorite soup, but it's not the case as at when I was much younger. When, if you use the spoon to take, and you put it on another soup, even that soup you put it to is condemned. You get my point? So, yes, we may grow up not liking certain things, but if we are open-minded and we try, we just might come to see something different in it. We just might come to see how we can amend and apply ourselves to certain things we hitherto would not have applied ourselves to. Okay? So, I would think the better way to begin is to see how you can expand your circle of friends a little bit. Yes, you're so much invested in your work, but nobody learns how to drive by sitting down on a chair. You have to get into a car, you have to go for driving school, find someone to teach and all that. If you're going to change, if you're going to try to change your sexual orientation, it means you have to begin to be comfortable with women. Are we agreed on that? So, I would want to say, of course, it's not a license for indiscriminate sexual exploitation or exploration, as the case may be. But really, it's about trying to know this opposite sex, trying to feel comfortable about them, trying to develop some form of feelings. Because, again, it's about the feeling. If you don't feel good with someone, why would you be with the person? And that's my take. If you don't feel good with someone, then there can be no vibe, and if there's no vibe, nothing can happen. Okay? And that's why a man who is straight, as they say, can be with a woman, even if she's naked. He wouldn't feel anything in his body. Perhaps because the woman doesn't fit his specifications. So, that's the point. If you don't try to open yourself up to these new possibilities I call them, then you never know. But like you said, being here today is a positive sign that you're ready to at least give it a trial, see what can be done. You know, I'm sure your cousin or your brother or your parents, they will think this is going to be all about a prayer session. I hope that's not what they told me.
That's what he said.
That I'm going to pray for you, but your orientation will change.
Did this go? They just said, I need prayers. I should go to Holy Cross. I don't know who told them about Holy Cross. I don't know. But that's what they said.